It is round 3 from Montreal, the Penguins and Canadiens. In their first meeting, the Penguins scored early.
Here's a chance, a steal. Bennett fires, score! Bob Bennett. Bennett snaps it right to Sutter. He scores!
And then they cruised behind a shutout performance from Marc-Andre Fleury. In the second meeting, it was the Habs who scored early. Shot by Subban. Rebound, they score. And then Carey Price closed the door. It's the last game of the season series between these two Eastern Conference powers, and it starts now on Root Sports. Yes, indeed, the rubber match between these two teams that are tied right now with 54 points in the Eastern Conference standings. They are 4 points behind the Tampa Bay Lightning, who defeated Montreal here earlier in the week. The Canadiens looking to bounce back from that loss. They don't take to losses very well, especially their coach, Michael Therrien. You can kind of tell when Michael Therrien's not happy with his team because he looks like he has a bad case of indigestion behind the bench. But there was none of that last Saturday night when the Canadiens put on a clinic in Pittsburgh. So, Bob, what are the tips to win here tonight in Montreal for the Penguins?
Well, I think for Pittsburgh, and it didn't happen against the Boston Bruins either. They didn't get traffic in front of Rask. They didn't do it in front of Price. You have to make their game very difficult, take their eyes away. Penguins power play has got to heat up. It's got to start winning them games, as Mike Johnson said, instead of tying them. And scoring first would be a benefit. The Canadiens are 16-1 if they get the first one on the board.
Let's go down on the ice now. There will be a moment of silence here before the national anthems in honor of the victims of that terrible attack in Paris. So we'll listen for that, and also the national anthems here tonight from Montreal.
Pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux américains et canadiens, veuillez accueillir Montel Raphael. For the singing of the American and Canadian national anthems, please welcome Montel Raphael.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
So 3 national anthems here tonight. The national anthem of France, followed by the Star Spangled Banner and O Canada. A nice touch here at the Bell Center as the Montreal Canadiens host the Pittsburgh Penguins. The referees tonight, Mark Johnette and Eric Furlat. Ryan Murphy and Brad Kovacic are the linesmen. And there is the flower from Sorel, Quebec in the net.
20 wins on the season for Marc-Andre Fleury. He got the win and a shutout his last time in this building. Goes against Carey Price, who beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-1 last Saturday. Mike Johnston has decided to reunite Kunitz and Crosby, and David Perron, who scored in that game, is going to play the right side. There's the Michael Terry, the bench boss of the Montreal Canadiens, and yes, he did not break a sweat in the last game. He's much more composed. The former coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Plekanec against Crosby. You'll see that a lot tonight. As the opening faceoff is kicked back to Paul Martin, back in the lineup for the Penguins. After missing 8 games with an injury, he played his first game from returning from injury against Boston the other night, and immediately an icing infraction against Pittsburgh, and a faceoff coming up to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury. You see the number 4, by the way, right behind the goals here in that trapezoid in honor of Jean Beliveau. Plekanec against Crosby.
Yeah, you said we'd see it a lot. Plekanec try to jump that draw. He'll get kicked out.
From the draw, Dale Weiss shooting, and he fired it wide. Weiss moves sometimes from a 4th line up to a top line. And he's playing out here in an offensive position tonight. As Plekanec shot it was stopped by Fleury off the paddle, and Crosby comes flying back for the Penguins. Tried to get around Subban, who took it away from him and then flicked it back out the center. Plekanec quickly ahead for David Desharnais. And back to get the puck is Robert Bortuzzo. Desharnais took him out. Weiss follows on. Galchenyuk storms into the offensive zone off the bench for Montreal, number 27. Desharnais trying to get him the puck, but Paul Martin backhands it up the wall, and David Perron couldn't get it out. Held in by Gallagher. Perron with a good second effort, though, to make sure he got the puck back to neutral ice. And now Kunitz drops it off to Paul Martin, paired up with Robert Bortuzzo. Mike Johnston said today that he'll split up Letang and Martin on the road to make sure that he has one of those two out there defending against who he wants them out against. He said it's a lot tougher to get his matchups on the road, so he splits them up, Martin and Letang. So Martin's playing with Bortuzzo, Chris Letang on the ice right now with Christian Ehrhoff.
Those two can log big minutes. Letang has been averaging just over 27 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It'll help having Martin in the lineup, trying to alleviate some of that ice time that Letang has had to absorb, as well as Ehrhoff back there, and Crosby. Look out.
Letang off the draw. The shot interrupted on the way through, and then a little poke by Steve Downey into the equipment of Carey Price, and he's able to freeze.
Well, you saw a face-off at one end, led to a Weiss opportunity, a face-off in front of Carey Price, leading to a Pittsburgh Penguin opportunity. Sutter winning it clean. Back to Letang. And as Russ tips that puck down to the feet of Carey Price. Very composed netminders here.
Sutter with big numbers against Montreal. Backhanded one right off the draw into the net, and Carey Price made the save. He's got 10 goals in 23 games against the Canadiens. Now here's Brian Rust poking it down into the corner. Tom Gilbert goes back to get it. Sutter follows on. Lars Eller there to take it away. They're working hard as Rust to try to get it back. Now Alexei Yemelin, who scored a goal against the Penguins last Saturday night and was just hit by Steve Downey, moves the puck to center. Now Downey and Prust get involved right in front of the Montreal bench.
Oh, I love that. Downey getting right in there, lowering the boom and getting this Penguin team rocking and rolling here early.
Now it's Sikach with it. He's hit hard by Simon Dupre. He racked him into the boards. And over to the far side goes Beaulieu on his backhand. He sends it in behind. Gallagher there to shove it back up the wall. Bo Bennett on his off wing trying to get it out. Lars Eller held it in. Now it's Scuderi with it. He banks it off the glass. Sutter there as well, trying to get it out. It's Rust, Bennett, and Sutter at the moment. Now Dupre under pressure here from Pacioretty. Protects the puck nicely. Moves it along for Scuderi and up the wall. Galchenyuk came over. He couldn't hold it in. And it goes back into the Montreal zone. No icing on the play as Carey Price sets it up for 40-year-old Sergei Gonchar.
Yeah, he's starting to heat up right now. Sergei Gonchar, after a tough start in his first 16, the points are starting to come.
Now it's Malkin dumping the puck into the corner. Gonchar back to get it. Gino working hard against his old landlord. And Pacioretty moves it out to center. Letang in the neutral zone, dumps it right back into the Montreal end.
Well, a couple of big hits early for Pittsburgh. Montreal, a smothering defense that really gets you in layers. Just don't want to turn it over against them.
And they came to the Penguin zone, and Weiss fans on a shot. Letang from one knee backhands it back out to the neutral zone. PK Subban. For all his histrionics at games against the Penguins, Subban does not have big numbers against Pittsburgh. 6 points in 16 games against them, only 1 goal.
And you're talking about a guy that's 8th in D scoring in the National Hockey League this year with 27. So, yeah, it helps when you keep him off the board.
Subban under pressure there in the corner, but the Canadians able to move the puck out to center. And now Paul Martin over to get it. Martin into the middle now for Zach Sill, also just returning to the lineup for the Penguins the other night. He missed 11 games with injury. He was getting healthy again. Lead pass, Lars Eller backhands it up into the Penguin zone, and Fleury set it up behind the net. Pressed in after it. Paul Martin nicely just shoulders him off the puck. Up the wall it comes. Penguins trying to get it out, but it stays in. And pressed behind the net. He's hit hard again, this time by Bortuzzo. He comes to the blue line, and Desharnais got it to Eller. Eller backhands it down low. Pressed with it. Pressed looking in front for Sekac. Instead goes to Beaulieu. Nathan Beaulieu with it now. Down the left side against David Perron. Beaulieu brings it to the corner. Canadians did that a lot in Pittsburgh, where the defenseman moves up and a forward moves back. We saw that a lot last Saturday night. Here's Crosby now looking for the lead pass. Crosby centers it, and it goes right past Perron. And carried with authority back to center by Sekac for Prust. They're at the end of their shift here, but Sekac still has good energy as he goes to the corner. Scuderi pries it away from him. Now Dupre with 2 Canadians on him gets help from Chris Kunitz. And Kunitz works it up the wall, but it's held in there by Alexei Yemelin right to Simon Dupre. And the Montreal native works it ahead now to Kunitz, who one-hands it into the Canadian zone. Gilbert takes the pass from Carey Price, but his forechecked there by Bo Bennett. He couldn't get to the puck. Andrighetto tried to get it out, couldn't do so. Malkin's pass for Letang off his stick.
The energy is there, isn't it, Staggy? The work ethic's there. It just hasn't, the timing not quite there between Perron and Crosby, and there Malkin trying to go Letang. So we'll see if it settles down here a little bit. 2 teams that are really trying to get that first goal on the board.
2 teams with a little more rest than they've been accustomed to over the last several weeks. A lot of practice time for the Penguins recently. Now here's Malkin back into his zone. No, he's going to go to the bench instead, and Fleury stops it and then passes it out to center, where Bo Bennett is hit in the neutral zone by Alexei Yemelin after dumping the puck in. Subban winds it up the wall for Brendan Gallagher. And the 5'9" forward gets around Downey, finds Galchenyuk. He looked for Pacioretty in front, but Galchenyuk rammed into the boards by Robert Bortuzzo. Penguins have been physical here so far. Left wing pass to Downey. Downey with a shot. That was blocked by Subban, who got right in his face. Bortuzzo takes it and shoots it. And that hit his own man, Brian Rust. Rust over to the wall. Gets help from Downey. Downey has Sutter in front. He passed it through, and it comes all the way back to Bortuzzo to Martin. Down low now to Downey. Steve Downey turns away from Brendan Gallagher. Sutter battling for space in front of the net as Downey finds Bortuzzo. And Bortuzzo's pass broken up nicely by Max Pacioretty. And Pacioretty comes ahead and moves it to Gallagher on the right wing. Try to get it to Pacioretty going to the net, but Downey got in front of him. Now Pacioretty back to the goal, shooting in a Fleury stick save. Out to Plekanec to drive, and a blocker save made that time. And then Downey tried to spring Sidney Crosby, but Markov prevented that from happening.
Oh man, Crosby off the bench had a head of steam. Maybe that bank pass, not stick to stick, but off behind him off the back wall, would have set Crosby free for a breakaway.
Not a lot of whistles. Here's Desharnais. Into the corner goes Plekanec. Desharnais turns. Back to Gonchar. He can't keep it in the zone as he controls the puck. Now over to Beaulieu. Beaulieu's 22, Gonchar's 40. Interesting pairing there for Michael Therrien.
That's why they brought him in. They said Gonchar, he doesn't mind talking to the young guys. Part of the plan Michael Therrien had, and he has played well and paid dividends. +7 on the season for Gonchar.
This is Sekach, who played with Troy Loney's son in Youngstown. Shot by Sill, was driving. That one went high over the net and off the corner glass and up into the netting. And there is a whistle, Bob.
Couple of big hits early. And the final one, Robert Bortuzzo stapling his man to the wall.
Barrel leaders, Fleury and Price right up there for sure among the goalies who played a lot of games. And the other one will be Pekka Rinne. If we look at our Vezina contenders at the halfway point of the season, Pekka Rinne right now is the odds-on favorite. Everybody talks about him so much. He's done a phenomenal job with Nashville, who, as of yesterday, when I last looked, were leading the National Hockey League in the standings, in the overall standings, with 58 points. Tied with Tampa Bay, but more wins. And actually, they have the same number of wins. But in any event, they had him at the top of the standings. And what an amazing job done by Peter Laviolette, but he's getting a lot of help from that guy Pekka Rinne, just as Fleury's helping the Penguins and Price is helping the Canadiens.
Yeah, they got their 28th victory. Did Pekka Rinne and Nashville win again today?
There you go. There's Prust with it now in the slot. Stripped of the puck. It comes back to Markov. His shot was blocked. Bennett broke his stick trying to pass it, but Malkin picks it up. Malkin crisscrossing with Spalling. Lost it. And the Canadiens bring it back, and Lars Eller tries to settle it down. Look for Sekach cutting in, but the Penguins have it, and Downey takes over. To Simon Desprez. Short pass for Sutter. Ran into some traffic. Eller to Gallagher. Gallagher with a shot wide of the net. Desprez back to get it, overskated, but Scuderi's got it. Penguins have to be careful not to turn the puck over in the neutral zone. The Canadiens really used that trap to their advantage against the Penguins last Saturday. Here's Desprez. To Rust.
Penguins using the wall to get the puck out of their own zone right now. As those Canadiens, yes, they kind of swarming right now.
Here's Perron trying to get free to shoot it. Checked closely by Galchenyuk. And it's cleared back into the Penguin zone. The Canadiens, after beating Pittsburgh, were 16-0 when they scored the first goal. They finally were beaten on a night when they scored the first goal the other night by Tampa Bay. Here's Sidney Crosby. Leaving it now for Bortuzzo, and his blast comes right to Martin. A shot, and that's off a stick. Martin gets in deep on the play. Tried to center for Crosby. Now for Perron behind the net. David Perron to Paul Martin. Martin wheeling with the puck back to Kunitz, covering for him, and Kunitz dumps it back around to the right side. Bortuzzo pinches in to get it. And Bortuzzo down the wall for Kunitz. Good cycling here for the Penguins. Kunitz up top now for Adams, who just came on the ice. Over to Bortuzzo, and he backhands it, but right to Plekanec. And now it's Gilbert with it for Montreal. Gilbert scored coming out of the penalty box last Saturday night on a breakaway.
Thomas Plekanec is still on the ice, but his assignment is Sidney Crosby. He's been out there every time Crosby's been on the ice.
Canadiens dump the puck in, and Chris Letang goes back to get it. Penguins' fourth line is Gotch, Adams, and Sill. They're on the ice. Christian Ehrhoff ahead for Sill. Bounced over his stick. Subban works it down the wall. Borneval tries to come towards the net. He was hooked by Ehrhoff. There'll be a penalty. Now it's Andrighetto with it, and the Penguins get control, and that brings the whistle. The Penguins are going to be shorthanded.
It's going to be a hold. And the Montreal Canadiens will go to the power play. They've struggled. They're 27th in that category. And there is the hold call against Christian Ehrhoff. See, the Penguins turn the puck over again in that neutral zone, and it comes the other way. And as Ehrhoff's moving up the ice, the puck comes back into his face. He's flat-footed. He takes the penalty on Borneval, and I'll tell you, it's a good thing the Penguins have been fantastic on their penalty kill, because they've struggled with their power play, but they still have not lost a lot of games on that power play on the special teams battles, Dave.
No, they haven't. They've lost the special teams battle only twice in the last 17 games, and they've won it twice. Despite the woes of their power play, because their penalty killing has been so outstanding. And they won the special teams battle against Montreal when they beat them in November. Penguins win the draw, Spalling clears. And they lost the special teams battle last Saturday night when the Canadiens beat them. So it's going to be very important in terms of who wins it here tonight. And then that'll determine who will win the hockey game. Here's Spalling down the wall. He's trying to move it behind the net to get it out. And Scuderi came over, but the Canadians get control. It's Markov to Subban. Subban to Eller. Gallagher's in the slot. He looks for the puck, but it comes past him right to Fleury, and he's able to grab it with a glove. And we invite you to tweet us at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth. You can send your comments and questions for Bob. Use the hashtag PensBooth. Brought to you by Point Park University.
See, Pacioretty almost wasted a shot there. I don't think he thought he was going to score, but he, you know, that puts something in your mind as a penalty killer. Next time he may go down to the goal line for that kind of play. Pacioretty, you don't score goals if you don't shoot, and he shoots primarily from between the dots. 17 goals, most of them coming right in that area of the middle of the ice.
Marcel Gottsch leads all Penguin forwards in total shorthanded ice time. 3:05 a game. Now he's back in the lineup tonight after some illness. He did not play against the Bruins. Here's Letang shooting it to the net. Gottsch has been an important member of the Penguins penalty killing unit in the success that they've had, winning draws. And he's been on the ice for 8 power play goals against all year. Gottsch trying to get to it. It's cleared now back to the near wall. Picked up there by Letang. He'll lift it back to center off the stick of Adams. And if the Canadians will have to regroup now with 50 seconds to go on the penalty to Christian Ehrhoff. Boy, this is a very important penalty killing sequence for the Penguins in this game.
Good hard clear by Sutter going behind the goal line to get that puck out.
Alex Gonchar with it. An extraordinary power play specialist in his career with 220 career goals. The all-time leading Russian-born defenseman.
40 years of age right now. Wow.
Look at Gonchar, so cool and calm as he moves it ahead for Gallagher. Gallagher turns it back though, and it'll be driven in by Beaulieu. Hard around, Fleury couldn't stop it. It hangs up on the glass for a moment. Martin chopping at it, and he's able to get it all the way down the ice.
He couldn't, yes, and I sort of interrupt. He didn't stop it dead, but he stopped it enough so Martin could play it, Staggy, on the goal line, and you can get that clear. So good help there by Fleury.
Now it's Galchenyuk. The pass kind of behind him. Ehrhoff back on the ice. Malkin stops up, leaves it there for Simon Desprez. Desprez comes ahead with authority, dropping it off now to Malkin, cutting it and shooting, and the blocker save made by Price.
Boy, I love the way he soars off that off wing. Malkin and able to look out. Fleury's out.
Just cleared it to safety to the near side as the net was vacated for a moment by Flower. And now the Penguins calmly bring it back to center. Bo Bennett to the right side for Evgeny Malkin. So Bennett getting a chance to play with Gino. He's had, I counted him today, he's played with 10 different players this year. And maybe I missed 1 or 2.
Well, when he was playing with Downey and Sutter last time in this building, he had a 3-point night, did Bo Bennett. His best night in the National Hockey League. And let's see what kind of magic he has tonight.
There's an icing call. We'd like to welcome telemedia viewers in the snowshoe area of Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching and rooting on the Pens. All of us at Root Sports and the Penguins appreciate your support. These are the guys, Bob: Hornquist, Kunitz, Dupuis, Ebbett, Spalling, Sutter, Rust, Como, Sidney Crosby, and Bo Bennett. Those are the guys who played on a line with Evgeny Malkin this year. And I think I may have missed 1 or 2. Maybe Jason Megna. Maybe you can think of somebody else. Here's Kunitz shooting to the glove of Carey Price. It might be better to do that. I'll just give you a list of who has it. Probably one guy or something. You and me.
Only 7 shots in this hockey game right now. No score in Montreal.
Well, you're getting a good look at head coach Michel Therrien and the Montreal Canadiens. And just a few rows behind him is the famous seat where Jean Beliveau sat for so many years, section 102 row double E. The night that the Canadiens had their first home game after he passed, that seat was highlighted with a light. There's number 4 draped around it. The lady you saw sitting in that seat just moments ago, Elise Beliveau, the widow of Jean Beliveau. I'm told that during games that she is not here or sitting in that seat, that light will continue to shine down on that seat in section 102 row double E, as Montreal Canadian fans and I guess the world of hockey continues to remember the great number 4, guys.
He wore number 4 and he was a forward. That's interesting. And you wonder why guys like Beliveau wore 4 and Gordie Howe wore 9. They wore low numbers because they got the better berth on the train. They got to pick the lower number because they had the better berth on the train. That's how it all worked back in the days.
Yep. They were married 61 years, Steggy. Elise Beliveau and Jean.
He was one classy man. Now the puck is iced, and we'll bring it back into the Canadian zone. There's Elise Beliveau.
Got a good seat right there. They have the 4 on the jersey on the right lapel side of the sweaters. The 4 behind the nets.
And in the very first game between the Penguins and Canadians, the first game the Penguins ever played in 1967 at the Civic Arena, Jean Beliveau scored. I believe it was his 400th goal. And the Penguins lost 2-1 in that game, the very first game against the Canadiens. This is the 100th game between these two clubs in Montreal. Here's Sutter shooting, and the save made by Carey Price. Back out to Paul Martin, and he'll work it down low. Rust behind the net for Sutter. Sutter looked for Bortuzzo, wasn't there, but a nice play by Paul Martin to get over and at least keep it in momentarily. But now he's trapped. Here's a shot by Thomas, and the save made. Christian Thomas in his first NHL game with a glorious scoring chance. Number 60, the son of former Penguin Steve Thomas, who you played against a lot, Bob.
Oh, yeah, great player, quite a competitor. There's Chris Thomas, former second rounder of the Rangers. Bortuzzo got caught up ice, and see, you got 2 defense on the right side. That springs Thomas down his right side, as the Penguins had nobody on their defensive left side of the ice because Bortuzzo got caught up and Martin had to move over and make a play. So an opportunity there as Marc-Andre Fleury comes way out to the top of the crease to make a big save on Chris Thomas.
Thomas scored 54 goals one year in junior. He played at London, and he had 41 in one of his earlier seasons. There's a chance in front now for Andrighetto. Good checking there by Scuderi, prevented him from getting a clean shot off. Now it's Bourneval out for Andrighetto out of Switzerland. Malkin trying to get it away from him. He gets help from Spalling, and Malkin comes to center to Bo Bennett. Bennett sliding to his right. Slips it down into the corner, looking for Dupre, who kept on coming. Dupre hit Gonchar hard. The puck behind the net, Gonchar gets it. Bo Bennett over to confront him as he lifted it to the line, held in nicely as Dupre used his feet to keep it in. Good story on Dupre in the paper today. I didn't realize that he does yoga every night before he goes on the ice. Gets up a good sweat. Yeah. Works on his breathing, relaxation. Smart thing for him to do.
Former coach and scout Andre Savard asked me about him today in the lunchroom, Stag. He said, Simon Dupre, how's he doing? Getting it, eh? I go, yeah, he's really getting it right now. He goes, he's an NHL player. And he really was happy to hear that Simon Dupre, and Simon as we call him right now because that's what he wants to be called, has really become a good NHLer. Rob Scuderi said as much today. They are helping each other out on that backside.
Here's Gallagher with it. Gallagher turning, pressured by Craig Adams. Pulls the trigger. It's blocked. And everybody looking for the puck. The Penguins in it first. And here's Crosby, 2-on-2 with Adams. Crosby trying to split the D. Adams follows on the shot. And Carey Price makes the save.
Wow, Sidney Crosby trying to run the gauntlet, but then he saw out of his rear view mirror 27 Adams as he danced Emelin and Gilbert. Sidney Crosby, a full head of steam heading into the Montreal Canadiens zone. A great play by Letang. Pushes the defense back, Emelin and Gilbert, and he creates that opportunity for Craig Adams. Crosby, his dad, was in attendance today. Troy, former draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens, was never signed, never played for the organization.
But he faced Mario Lemieux. He was a goalie in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League when Mario played for the Laval Voisin. Here's Kunitz backhanding it up into the Montreal zone. Crosby to Martin. Martin thought about backhanding that puck to the net, but instead hands it off to Crosby. Sid is flying out here against the Canadiens. Moves it back down to Bortuzzo. Crosby was hit hard on the far wall. Plekanec is staying right with him, but Sid goes to the front of the net. And Paul Martin with the puck. Sidney's in front, and the shot just sails wide. Bortuzzo. Gave it to Markov on his backhand. He tried to get it out, and it come to center. And now back into the Montreal zone for Paul Martin. So you're right, Bob. Plekanec on the ice every time that Michel Therrien can get him out there.
Yeah, and he's off now because Crosby's off. Kind of a little bit of a cheap shot, if you will, after Crosby passed the puck, kind of extending his arms out on Crosby to put him into that glass, but Crosby has come to expect it, trying to ignore it and work through it here right now.
Here's Gonchar with it now, passes it to Prust, who's bumped by Sutter, and Brandon Sutter comes away with a puck. He threw it into the middle where it's dumped right back into the Penguin zone by Nathan Beaulieu. Up the wall it comes now. Nice pass by Rust for Sutter in flight over the line. Drops it off to Letang. His shot. He fired it over the goal, over the glove of Price, and up off the glass.
Really good opportunity, and he really changed the angle of Tang as he released that puck, trying to go over the glove of Price.
Another shot. Rebound. Downey trying to whack it out of midair. He takes another crack at it, and Price able to corral the puck.
Good opportunities for Pittsburgh from the blue line. Letang from down low. Downey with an opportunity, trying to work on that hand-eye coordination as the bouncy puck comes off the netminder. He does get a piece of it once and twice, not enough of the disc. And Carey Price was able to get over and make that save on Downey, who's really racking up the points right now for the Penguins. He was part of that Bennett and Sutter combination when Bennett had 3 points in the last outing here, and Downey's been an integral part of the Penguins, you know, really all facets of the game.
But Connett's out here now to take a draw against Malkin. He's with Gallagher and Pacioretty, so he's kind of taking the place of Galchenyuk here on this shift. The Gallagher comes in and loses the draw, and the shot from the far wall by Letang was blocked away, and back out the center comes Pacioretty, but getting between him and the Penguin zone was Ehrhoff. Ahead to Malkin. Malkin goes left side. Maybe one pass too many there. That's a turnover that results in a chance now for the Canadians. It's Brendan Gallagher. Gallagher pass went behind Markov. Out to Pacioretty, and he lifts it to the net. And Fleury gloves it down. So the Penguins maybe put themselves in a tough spot there by forcing the offense just inside the Canadian blue line. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob and Jay, Robert Bortuzzo visits with Dan Potash.
Yeah, Malkin tried to make a play at the blue line, and when he turned it to his backhand, it just takes too much time. The play wasn't there. Might have been open for a split second, but the backhand pass not working. Kind of equated to a quarterback going across the middle, across his body when he's running to the right, passing left. That's what Malkin tried. Didn't work. Canadians almost capitalized the other way.
Galchenyuk winning the draw cleanly back to Subban. PK Subban out to the blue line. Across now. Markov, a one-timer. Saved by Fleury.
Markov, the 36-year-old defenseman, set up by Subban. And there is a collision. Here's the break. Gallagher gets a skate, that pass. See the skate of Malkin just in the way of that pass, his right side. So Malkin knew he turned it over right away. Probably as he saw the pass going across, he was already coming back defensively to make that play.
Here's Paul Martin with it. Martin sends it up the boards. Shipped out to center by David Perron. It'll be interesting to see. Perron's going to have to get used to the speed of Crosby coming out of the defensive zone on that right wing. The Sid likes to come up that side. You got to get on the puck because he's flying. You're going to be able to tip it to him. Now it's Kunitz to Crosby on the other side. And following on is Paul Martin. Martin drops it off. Sid kicks it to his stick, moves it across, looking for Perron, but picking it off. With great anticipation was Pacioretty. 2-on-1 with Gallagher. He shoots and scores.
Those east to west passes in the other end. We just talked about the Malkin turnover, and the Penguins turn it over again in that high slot area. Crosby tried to play it out of his skates. That became an issue with players going to the front of the net. And Pacioretty, he's not going to pass the puck. He'll look to his left and see Gallagher. But when you have 17 goals, now 18, you're a shooter. And a shooter first and a shooter last. And Pacioretty got one of the heaviest shots I've ever seen. It's a left shot coming down that right side. He's got that better shooting angle. He went right by the glove of Marc-Andre Fleury.
For Pacioretty, there's a shot for Downey and a save by Price on the rebound. Stopped by Perron. Had a great chance at Price stopping Perron. So two big saves by Price. The Penguins almost came right back and tied it up. Pacioretty scoring his 16th even strength goal of the season against Marc-Andre Fleury, and then Price coming up big.
Well, yeah, it really is incredible when you look at his numbers and you see he's a plus 22 on the season. Max Pacioretty, those are lofty totals halfway through a season. and it's tough. There's the first goal on the board. The Canadians are 16-1 when scoring first. They get the first one here in this hockey game, and Sidney Crosby took a pass. It was in his skates at the far end as a puck just drifts by Carey Price here. He just couldn't dig it out of his skates and make a good play there, and it was turned over as the Canadians had no forwards going, or the Penguins had no forwards going back. They were all going to the net.
Now Sutter skating well tonight, getting back and earning the icing call against Brandon Prust.
Max Pacioretty scores a lot of long-distance goals, Staggy, and a lot of them from the inside of the ice. But that one there, just a little bit outside, a left-handed shooter, right about the dot area, or just on top of that dot. Scores a lot in between those two dots. You see 12 goals from the middle for Max Pacioretty. But just a heavy, heavy shot.
Letang's shot is blocked.
What do you mean by heavies, people would ask me? Well, when it hits you, it hurts. Some guys just, it's got pace on it, yes. I don't know, it's a hard thing.
There's a one-timer, and then a deflection. Prust shot it, and Fleury's down. I think he made a save there. A Prust backhand try. That puck pinballing around, and Fleury had a tough task there with two Canadians right there on the doorstep. And now it's Letang with it for Ehrhoff. The Canadians almost made it 2-0.
Yep. Good forecheck by Montreal. A hit on Letang, eliminate him from the front of the net. Too many men on the ice right there for the Canadians.
Bo Bennett pulls up, finds Malkin. He directed it towards Carey Price, who gloves it and hangs off.
Now Montreal made a change, and there's a chance. Talk about a guy going down the off wing. One-handed shot by Malkin to Price. Here's the hit in the corner. They turn the puck over. The Canadians do. And one save by Marc-Andre Fleury as he's sprawling in that blue paint.
Brandon Prust with a glorious scoring chance. He's got 3 goals on the year. Canadians again. Desharnais shot off a leg wide of the goal. The Penguins, the speed of the Canadians evident right now as they're getting into the Penguin zone with numbers.
Well, they're not big, are they? But they're awfully pesty.
And they play together well. They're well structured offensively and defensively. The puck dumped in. Back goes Markov to get it. Now here's Bortuzzo. He sends it down the wall, but it's cleared by Plekanec out to center. Weiss and Bortuzzo collided on the play. There's going to be a penalty, and it's going to be against Robert Bortuzzo for upending Dale Weiss in the neutral zone. The Penguins have to get right back to that penalty killing.
Yeah, Bortuzzo had a chance at the blue line. He has the puck. He did not get the puck deep. Only got it to the hash mark, and Weiss turns the puck the other way. When you're on the defense, you want to get it down deep. The puck does not go deep. Take a look at Bortuzzo. There's the puck. Doesn't get deep. It goes the other way. There's the hold up by Bortuzzo, and you draw penalties. Weiss did because you keep turning the legs. You keep turning the legs. But pucks have got to go deep, down the wall, behind the goal line, behind Carey Price. That's where you do your damage.
And there's only a second left in this period, so not much to work with. They do have Carey Price out of the goal, so they've got an extra attacker on with 1.2 on the board here. Sutter against Galchenyuk on the faceoff, and time expires, so it's going to be a power play situation for the Canadians, who were able to get that opportunity just a second before the end of the period. Bortuzzo taking the penalty.
Well, nothing like a good Saturday night hockey game in Montreal. Good hits early in the period. Not a lot of chances, but the Montreal Canadiens have taken advantage of a couple of turnovers here late by the Penguins, and they get the first one on the board.
Pacioretty's unassisted goal at 18-10, his 18th of the season. The difference after 20 minutes of play. Let's go to Robin Jett.
Get a late goal from Max Pacioretty, some momentum, and they'll now begin the second period on nearly a full power play. Let's head back to the Bell Center. Dan Potash with penalty kill boss, assistant coach Gary Agnew.
Well, unfortunately, Rob, the Penguins will begin the second period a man down, but once you get back to even strength, Gary, what are some of the key things to eliminate some of the odd man rushes that Montreal had in the first period and get things moving back in the other direction?
Well, you know, we got to manage the puck a lot better, both coming out of our zone and entering their zone, and certainly down low in the offensive zone. As soon as we turn the puck over, they're making quick plays up the ice. They have guys blowing the zone, and thus they're getting those odd number rushes. So better puck management, basically.
Gary, thank you.
My pleasure.
Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Dan. Well, this is only the 7th time all season that the Canadians have had a lead at the end of one period of play, Bob. They actually blew a lead the other night against Tampa Bay. They get stronger as the game goes on, so that's something the Penguins have to be aware of too, isn't it?
Yeah, they really do. And what they have to be aware of is, I think, what Dan Potas said there with Gary Agnew, because they blow the zone when you turn the puck over. Getting down by 2 would not be good right now.
Face-offs brought to you by the new face of Northwood Realty Services. And yes, the Penguins on a penalty killing situation to start the second period.
What Gary Agnew means by blowing the zone is as soon as they see the forwards of the Canadians see the puck being turned over, they just cheat. They go right towards the Penguins' end. And that's exactly what happened on the Bortuzzo penalty as he turned the puck over, didn't get it deep, and he's in the box, gives the Canadians this extended power play.
Nick Spaulding and Brandon Sutter up front on the penalty kill for the Penguins. Rob Scuderi and Chris Letang are back. Power play unit for the Canadians features PK Subban and Andre Markov, Alex Galchenyuk, Max Pacioretty, and Brendan Gallagher. And Scuderi with it now, and he'll move it back up the wall and pass Subban into the Montreal zone. Markov. Galchenyuk fires it off the end boards out for Brendan Gallagher. Subban. Markov chops it towards the goal, and the bouncing puck is scooped up by Marc-Andre Fleury. Take a look at our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update.
A couple of scorers who were playing in top 6 roles. Blake Comeau moved up there. Hornquist, this is a lot of production in those 2 players. Ole Mata, not sure his status with the upper body. Pascal Dupuis, 6 months, they said, from his start date in the fall.
Gotch lost the draw to Galchenyuk. Subban with drive, save, rebound, Gallagher can't find it, and it stays out somehow. Another shot by Subban. Boy, does he take a big windup.
The stick of Fleury is outside the blue line right now, if you believe it or not.
Oh my goodness, it is. How the heck did it get out there, Bob?
Well, it got out to the highest slot area, but then the Canadians shuffled it out of the way a little further.
Yeah, I'll say. And now they turn it over, and the Penguins have a chance coming back shorthanded. Dupre moves it right side to Adams. Shoots it off the blocker of Carey Price. Paul Martin just skated 55 feet to hand the stick back to Marc-Andre Fleury. And here comes Pacioretty for Gallagher, and he fired it just wide on the blocker side of Fleury. Markov with it. He tried to wrist it to the net. Blocked by the Penguins, and Brandon Sutter catching up with the puck at center ice against Gonchar, backing up. Sutter cuts in and shoots it, and Gonchar somehow stood in front of that shot. He was backing in, though. Now Desharnais at center moves it back to Gonchar. Gonchar 40, Markov 36. Shot by Plekanec wide of the net. Chopped off the wall by Scuderi. Scuderi gloves it down, but it's taken by Desharnais. To the corner for Plekanec, and a sharp angle shot off of Fleury. Now it's Beaulieu with it, bringing it to the corner. Beaulieu in deep on the play. Bump on the tank. Dale Weiss trying to get it back to the point. Penalty's over. Bortuzzo's on the ice. Plekanec's shot stopped by Fleury, hugging that post as he does now. Now Desharnais back down towards the net. Scuderi found himself with 2 Canadians near him, and Dale Weiss ends up with the puck. Weiss turning away now for Desharnais. The Tang, Scuderi, and Bortuzzo are on the ice. 3 defensemen. It's Subban with it. Over to Beaulieu, a drive, and bringing his body down with Bortuzzo playing like a forward to block the shot. And the Canadians continue to control as if they are still on the power play. Subban with it. Over to Desharnais. Slap pass, and it's directed just wide of the net by Plekanec. And up the wall as Sills able to get it back into the Montreal zone. The Penguins finally are able to change. Letang really tired as he goes to the bench.
That's tough for Robert Bortuzzo. Came out of the penalty box, acted like a forward with a good block, and they get the clear so they don't have to face it off with 3D.
Beaulieu carries in, backhands it in front, and Prust just tipped it right over the goal. Prust goes for Eller behind the net, but Paul Martin broke it up. And now here's Crosby busting ahead into the Montreal zone. Can't get around the defense, but Kunitz follows on. Now to Perron, and his shot off a stick, and it floated over the goal.
Wow, they were able to push back the defense with a great speed there. Perron had the puck right where he wanted to.
Crosby with it now. Perron out here looking like a man on a mission, but the Canadians break it up, and Ehrhoff's got to get back. He pinched up a little bit there, and Sekac can't control the puck. Ehrhoff bumps him from behind. Sekac lost control of it, and Kunitz to Perron. who looks so much like Alexei Kovalev on the ice, and that's not by accident. Here's Prust with it now. Moves it ahead to Lars Eller. Eller into the Pittsburgh zone is hip checked nicely by Rob Scuderi. Simon Dupre trying to move it behind the net. Now it's 1-on-2 for Dupre here. Gets some help though from Malkin to Spaulding, and now back to Scuderi. Over for Bo Bennett. Off his stick. Bennett got it going forward to Malkin. Malkin just wants the puck and wanted off his stick. Now Spaulding and Malkin go to work behind the net. Spaulding trying to get a hold of it. Malkin ends up with control. Trying to hand it off to Bo Bennett. Bennett able to get it back to Scuderi now for Malkin. Malkin sent it back down the boards. Gilbert is bumped by Bo Bennett, but he's able to backhand it over to the far corner. Ehrhoff pitches down, backhand pass to Spaulding, now to Malkin. Malkin for Bennett. Onto the ice comes Letang. He wanted the puck. Malkin centers it. Pinballs around. Malkin trying to get a hold of it. Still loose in the slot. Malkin doing everything he can to get a hold of his puck. So is Bo Bennett. Finally, Carey Price able to freeze it in the paint.
Well, there's a passionate shift by the Malkin unit. A two-on-one went awry about 30 seconds ago, but they kept the puck in the offensive zone. Did get it to the front of the net. 3 white jerseys battling 5 red jerseys. Look at all the Canadians draped all over the 3 Pittsburgh Penguins. Marc-Andre Fleury earlier in the other end made a save. Then he lost his stick as he's trying to shuffle that puck out of the way of Gallagher. The stick is over the blue line. Here comes Martin all the way back. Maybe the longest relay handoff in the history of the game that we've seen, Staggy. That's a long way for Martin to go back and hand that stick off to Fleury.
He's got it now, and off the face-off, Sutter moves it back. Poked over to the corner by Brian Rust. Sutter, Rust, and Downey on the ice. 3 righties on the third line for the Penguins. And here's Gallagher backhanding it off the wall to center. Ehrhoff got body position there, but he ends up taking another penalty here. Nope. He held up Pacioretty, or is it the opposite?
It's offside, just an offside.
Sorry, I thought it was a penalty. I beg your pardon.
No problem. But Ehrhoff, I like the way he stood up into the face of Pacioretty. Montreal Canadiens have done the same thing in the neutral zone defense. Stand up, close that gap between defense and forwards. You see Ehrhoff doing it right there. Stand up, don't give up your blue line. Once you give up the blue line to talented players, all bets are off, and it's advantage Canadians. Ehrhoff did not give up that blue line, and you can do that when you have your forwards coming back hard.
Now Letang back to the puck, and he sends it up the wall. Downey tried to use the skate to get a hold of it, but it goes back into the Montreal zone. Beaulieu under pressure here from Rust. Sutter follows on. Now it's Gonchar moving it right wing to Christian Thomas. Out into the middle, onto the reach of Porteval, and Dupre drives it right back in. Price turned the stick over there to just get a piece of it as it came off the glass behind the net. Now the Canadians lose it, move it out to center, out of the reach of Christian Thomas, who goes in there, and the pass from Dupre stays in the zone. Now it's Christian Thomas back. He actually looks like his dad a little bit on the edge. It's a hit by Perron down there in the corner. He can't come up with a puck though. Dupre has it. Dupre is bumped by Borneval. Now David Perron steps in to help out his teammate, and Kunitz able to turn it back to the line, but didn't get it out. It's held in by Thomas. It's picked up by Kunitz, and back he comes for the Penguins. 3 Canadians are back. Crosby to Dupre. Dupre shoots it off the side of the net. Subban slams it up the near side and back out the center.
Well, I like that. You bring a defenseman up. Simon Dupre joins Russ, gives the Penguins an option there.
Perron turns the puck over, and then Borneval dumps it into the Penguin zone. And the Canadians are changing, so the Penguins will run a stationary breakout here from the defensive zone. Here's Paul Martin sending it up to center ice. Turned over. Plekanec comes the other way, trying to get around Martin. He's hit on the near wall. Zach still in there battling. Penguins 4th line on the ice. They're able to go. Poke check by Fleury. And Plekanec couldn't find the handle. Gotch to Sill. Sill dumps into the Montreal zone. Adams in on the forecheck. Hits Emelin. Back to the point. It comes to Paul Martin. Fires it wide intentionally. Gotch after the puck. Working hard here against Alexei Emelin. There's a penalty. Yep, Gotch drawing the penalty. He was showing a lot of energy on that shift. And the Penguins will go to their first power play opportunity of the game. They had only one last Saturday night against Montreal.
And the Penguins' 4th line get it done. They get it deep. They start mucking on the wall behind the goal line. Keep your feet moving. That's how you draw penalties. Gotch able to do it with Emelin draped over him.
Well, the Penguins looking for a power play goal, and one guy who was almost always automatic on the power play was, of course, number 66, who, by the way, is getting loose for next week's fantasy camp back home in Pittsburgh. Now, you can watch 66 and other former NHL greats play in 2 separate scrimmages on January 14th at 6 p.m. and 7:30. A $15 ticket gets you into both scrimmages. Call 412-642-PENS. Oh, by the way, guys, we're going to mic up one of those former NHL players for a future edition of Inside Penguins Hockey. All-time hockey.
And of course, proceeds benefit the Mario Lemieux Foundation. Jay Caulfield will be there too, Bob.
Why not? He was on the ice when Mario scored 5 different ways. So what's he going to do without the telestrator?
He's going to carry it around the ice with him.
Nice. Well, he could. One of the smaller ones. He could do that. I know he could.
Now the Canadians are able to clear the puck. The Penguins have 2 power play goals in their last 10 games. They could desperately use one right here. Here goes Malkin. Knocked off his stick. Kunitz hustled over, but beaten to the puck there by Pacioretty, who broke his stick, and he has to go to the bench. So Pacioretty, dangerous offensive player, being used as a penalty killer by Michel Therrien. Letang to David Perron. Perron trying to get it to Kunitz. Kunitz behind the net for Crosby, but it goes right to the Canadians. Penguins unable to set up on the power play. Penguins have 3 power play goals in their last 14 games. These are the guys who scored them. Chris Kunitz, Steve Downey, and Nick Spaulding. Puck out of the reach of Kunitz. Carey Price able to wrist it all the way down the ice. A lot of guys have gone dry at the same time on the power play, and that's why it's only clicking. I don't know when they'll use that word, clicking. It's scoring at a rate of 9% since early November.
Well, it's tough. You got to outwork the opposition here, and the Canadians are 6th in the penalty killing stats.
Here's a shot by Perron, and it's off the stick, I think, of Sutter, and it deflected over the goal.
Good save. He actually got a left arm on that, Price.
Oh, did he? Okay, Bobby. Here's Malkin with it. You make a good point about the hard work. We're going to expand on that. Here's Letang to Perron. Back to Letang. Perron shot, stopped by Price. Downey couldn't find the rebound. He was knocked down, and the Canadians able to clear it.
Oh, now Downey getting into it with Gilbert. Gilbert did a good job taking away the stick of Downey in front of the net. There was a big rebound off the Perron shot. And yes, Perron does have to continue to shoot.
Those two had a personal battle last Saturday night, Downey and Gilbert. Now Gilbert back to the puck, hit by Bo Bennett. Downey follows on, so it's the second unit. Sutter, Downey, and Bennett working hard here for the Penguins, but Dale Weiss able to find Plekanec. And he comes ahead against Ehrhoff and Martin. Yemelin's back on the ice, so the Canadians kill off that Penguin power play. Dale Weiss turning now. Sutter and Martin go to work to get the puck. Up the wall for Bennett. Fell down as he tried to get it out, but Paul Martin over, and he's able to find Ehrhoff. Bob, how much did we talk about that last year? The Penguins' work ethic on the power play.
That was the biggest thing they had going for it, and they outnumbered the other team. They outworked them, and that was their key, I thought. And we said it relentlessly because they were relentless.
Here's Gallagher with it now, spinning with it. Try to center, we're off the stick of Scuderi, back to Subban. Maybe that's an element that's been missing, or not as strong as it was a year ago.
You definitely have to work as a team. Teamwork is the key at any unit that is playing, and when you talk about teamwork, I think the Penguins have to get back to that.
Here's Gotch taking a lead pass, cutting in. He can't pull the trigger. Gotch again works it in behind the net. Sill is there. Now for Adams. He finds Dupre, and his shot is blocked by Pacioretty. And Gallagher able to poke it back to center. Dupre, though, reached back and took it back away from him, and he goes to the bench after dumping it in. Past the halfway point of the second period, the Canadians leading 1-0. Sakatch with it. Bortuzzo over to take him. Kunitz goes back against Lars Eller. Martin is there as well. He's able to wind it up the wall. And it'll slide all the way up into the Canadian zone. Sidney Crosby, the first man on the puck, centers it. Gotchar got back and read the play to prevent the pass from coming through to David Perron.
It's tough right now. Sometimes you feel like you're pounding your head against the wall. There's no other way than hard work, effort, trying to get to Carey Price.
Well, technically, this is a road game for Marc-Andre Fleury, but Montreal is home for the goalie during the summer. This is where you will find him in the gym, getting stronger under the watchful eye of his personal trainer, Paul Gagne. Strengthening his core and emphasis on balance equals longevity, not bigger muscles, longevity. We'll take a closer look inside his very interesting workout routine on next month's edition of Inside Penguins Hockey. So that's the difference, guys. Wow, I got it all wrong.
A long-time #1 fan of Marc-Andre Fleury and personal trainer Joe Crawford would love to see that. He'd love to see Fleury using the ropes. There's Desharnais with it. He'll dump it to the corner. Joe's been a season ticket holder since the late 60s. And a tremendous Penguins fan.
And during that timeout, Crosby was stretching. He's doing that a lot more as he's getting a little bit older. A big save there on that off shot. And look at Plekanec right in the crease with Sidney Crosby right in front of Price. On the last opportunity, the Canadians came strong. Look at Crosby. Lost the face-off to Plekanec, but look, he's got to get back and he lifts the stick. Plekanec is a good 200-foot player, as is Sidney Crosby. He got on his horse in a 1-0 hockey game. And you know, as a Penguin, you can't get down 2 right now to Montreal. I mean, 1's enough against Carey Price. 2.20 goals against. Fleury, 2.20 goals against coming into the game.
Price moves it along. Bournival brings it to center. He's out here with Lars Eller and Brandon Prust. Paul Martin back to it. Paired up with Robert Bortuzzo. Martin is knocked down. The Canadians have it. Backhand shot. And Lars Eller taking that for close range. And it may have actually cut a piece of Fleury's equipment as it went by. And now taken by Spalling ahead of Malkin. Malkin cuts into the middle. Jams it up into the corner. Spalling gets in after it. Around now for Bortuzzo, who delivers it back behind the goal for Spalling. Now to Malkin. Bennett's in front of the net. Malkin under siege right now. The Canadians aren't giving the Penguins much time and space, are they, right now?
I'm not looking at many opportunities for Pittsburgh. I look at a lot of aggression and desire right now. They just can't find that give and go play, that good little support play that's going to work in tight around Carey Price.
Sutter backhands it to the corner. The Canadians come right back. Brendan Gallagher swinging wide against Ehrhoff. He passed it right off the leg of Ehrhoff, and Sutter quickly goes the other way. Sutter looking for Rust. Rust going to the corner now, along with Sutter. Galchenyuk there, as well as Gilbert, and then Sekac with it. And from Kladno in the Czech Republic, he moves it up into the Penguin zone. Ehrhoff backhands it out to Rust, still on the ice. Brian Rust into the Montreal zone, cuts into the middle, shoots it, and a save made by Price. Shooting it back against the grain. Rust has gone 10 without a goal. Scuderi now for Sill, going to take it away though. And a shot, a sharp angle hit the side of the net. Alexei Yemelin moved up from his defensive position. Now it's sent up the wall and held in nicely by Subban. Gets those quick feet moving. And now for Bournival. Downey confronts him as Bournival feeds it back over to the far corner for Subban. Dupre's on him. Subban trying to handle the puck. Dumps it back into the corner. He drew a penalty. The Canadians will go back to work on a power play. Subban to Andrighetto, and a shot blocked by Scuderi. Andrighetto gets it back. And now for the man Plekanec, who came in as the extra attacker. In the delayed penalty situation, the Penguins get a hold of it, and now the Canadians will have an opportunity on the power play.
Well, the Penguins were gassed. Sutter, Sill, Downey, who couldn't get it in their own zone. Take a look at the penalty. Subban gifted on his edges. Simon Dupre, free hand and a hold. And a loss of the edge there by Subban, who went down rather easily to draw that penalty, and then a backdoor pass. He made a beautiful pass over there, backdoor, I thought, to Andrighetto. And Simon Dupre's in the box for Pittsburgh.
And the Canadians with the power play opportunity. They're 0 for 2. They have 5 power play shots. The total 14 that they have on the board so far. There's a block by Letang. Letang able to use the glass to fire it past PK Subban. Markov back to get it up the wall for Subban. And he'll bring it ahead. Back around it comes. Digging it off the boards was Pacioretty. He let it go through though for Desharnais. Desharnais works it to the corner. Pacioretty and Desharnais teaming up. Pacioretty cycles to the front of the net. Desharnais works it down low for Plekanec. All the way up top now to Markov. Plekanec a shot. Fleury read the play beautifully and floated over to make sure he got it in the glove. That's one thing about the Flower. He's anticipating very well in those penalty killing situations. It's a great day for hockey, brought to you by Day Automotive. We talk about Mario returning. And on this date, a couple of hat tricks. In '88, the 11th of his career against Glenn Hamlin. In '89, the 17th of his career against Kelly Rudy.
Well, I'm sure he's set for another one in the fantasy camp, Staggy. He's ready to go. He's going to need somebody to dig some pucks up for him. He's going to bring Rob Brown in for that.
There's Gonchar now. Nathan Beaulieu. Galchenyuk to Gonchar. Galchenyuk with it, shooting. Fleury the save, in tight was Brendan Gallagher. And it came to Andrighetto behind the goal in front for Beaulieu, and Fleury stopped that. Now Martin working hard to get possession. Crosby out here at the end of the penalty kill. Actually, quite a bit of time left. Sid's on the ice for the face-off, I assume, and he goes to the bench with 37 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. Here are the Canadians. It is Gallagher with it. Now for Beaulieu. Pressured by Sutter. One hands the puck to Andrighetto. Still on the ice on this power play for the Canadians. To Galchenyuk. Gallagher goes to the front of the net. And Andrighetto tried to feed it all the way through for Gonchar, and Sutter takes it away down the wing. He shoots it. Save made. Still trying to get to the rebound, but in good defensive position. Beaulieu prevented that. And now Beaulieu behind the net for Lars Eller. Out of Denmark, in his long, graceful strides, he comes into the Penguin zone. Eller shooting it right on. Fleury made the save. Boy, that was a sneaky wrist shot from Lars Eller.
It really was sneaky, but technically perfect by Fleury, who stood up at that goal post. Previous years, he goes down. I think that's got a chance of going in. Yeah, I like the Penguins pushing the envelope defensively as well, trying to score a shorty.
Well, Point Park University invites you to tweet the booth at Root Sports Pit using the hashtag PensBooth, and we get one congratulating Crosby and Malkin, the selectors that play in the 2015 NHL All-Star Game.
Penguins captain Crosby and the team scoring leader Evgeny Malkin. Malkin, 45 points, Crosby 43.
They'll be in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, they lost it there a couple years ago, the lockout year.
Bennett with a shot and a glove save made by Price. Relive the best of the Buccos 2014 season Monday nights on Pirates Playback. The series continues with the team's April 14th game against the Reds. Taking 2 days to play, this game set a record for home runs hit at Great American Ballpark. And you can see it again on Pirates Playback Monday at 7 on Root Sports. Off the draw, Dupre. Try to go to Bennett. And going back for it now is Scuderi. Up the wall now to Malkin. Brandon Prust. Yemelin turned it over to Malkin. Malkin down the wing. Malkin to Bennett a drive, and it's stopped and blocked by Yemelin and trickles to the glove of Carey Price.
Yeah, you can see Prust is limping right now. Hit him on the way in as Malkin retrieved a turnover in the neutral zone, got his feet going down the off wing. The Penguins had a center drive, which gave him a lot of room there to find Bo Bennett, who went down to one knee, but it just hit that Canadian Prust, I believe, number 8, as the puck went to the net.
So right. I thought it was Yemelin who blocked it. It hit Brandon Prust.
It was a big opportunity here, a face-off chance for Crosby against Plekanec.
Kunitz to the corner for Crosby. Sid turns off the wall, trying to get a backhand shot away. Ehrhoff moves up to help out. He shoots it, and Price coolly gloves it and holds on to it.
Boy, good stuff there, Crosby. I love how he's able to come out, use his frame from the waist down, and just push with the right skate to get out of the corner against Thomas Plekanec. And then you got Chris Kunitz providing that traffic. He's right in top, and Carey Price right now is drawing a line with his stick. This is my area, the blue paint. He went over to the referee, and he went right around the top of his crease. He said, "This is my area," and just trying to almost showing the official up a little bit.
David Perron gave it away to Plekanec, who gave it away to Kunitz. Out for Crosby. No, it didn't get through. Now Weiss takes a lead pass. Ehrhoff coming back. Weiss with a backdoor pass, and Latanga back to break it up. It was intended for Desharnais going to the net. Now David Perron with it, and he moves it out to center to Crosby. Can't get into the offensive zone, and look out here. Galchenyuk, fortunately, Perron got back to prevent him from getting to the puck. And Ehrhoff sends it up the boards, the length of the ice. No icing. Both teams shuffle the deck. 3:19 to go in the second period. Lead pass for Gallagher. Shoots it. Fleury the stick save. Galchenyuk gloves it down. Fleury stepped out to kind of trip him up a bit as he tried to get to the loose puck behind the goal. And now Paul Martin for Sutter, who banks it into the Montreal zone. Beaulieu to Galchenyuk. Great move around Still. To the right wing and Gallagher. And Galchenyuk to Gallagher, and the shot steered to the corner by Fleury.
I think Downey hit Galchenyuk, who was on the ice for a little bit. Big hit by Downey in the corner, I believe, on Galchenyuk.
Now Beaulieu trying to get it to the corner. Penguins force it back to center ice. The shots pretty low tonight. 20 for Pittsburgh, 21 for the Canadians late here in the second period. Close checking game. Fleury behind the net. No margin for error really right now for the Penguins the way this game's going. Here's Andrighetto with it now in the corner. Andrighetto trying to spin to the net. One of the diminutive forwards the Canadians have. They have many of them. They're the shortest team in the NHL. Here's Bourneval with it now for Christian Thomas, and he ripped it right through the goal mouth, and it comes off the corner boards back into the Montreal zone. Bo Bennett in against Alexei Yemelin. He finished him off. Yemelin turning and elbowing him a bit in the back as he checked him, and now a lead pass for Thomas picked off by Malkin. He immediately finds Bo Bennett into the Montreal zone. Bennett shoots it. Price made an easy save. Bennett goes crashing in there to get to the puck again. Now for Malkin. Malkin now for Scuderi, and the shot. Trying to deflect it in with Spalling. Dupre spins off the wall to Malkin. His shot. Score! Malkin with a rocket. And the Penguins have tied this game at 1.
And deservedly so. Wow. Watching Bennett hit Emelin. Watching Malkin, the way he was dancing and working on the shift. They missed a redirect by Spalling in front, but they get that traffic finally. After the pinching defense, Simon Dupre to Malkin. I don't know if it grazed the Canadian Emelin or not on the way in, but beautiful play by Simon Dupre to Malkin. That interchange where the defenseman goes down the wall. The centerman, or the forward Malkin in this case, goes back and gets that area that was vacated by the defenseman. And we saw him score high on Rask the other night. We saw him score high here today on Carey Price through some traffic. Deservedly so. They tie the game up, and that man, Malkin, has been on a mission. And he was relentless on that shift, and he's breathing hard. You know it right now. His off-season regiment was beyond belief. We showed you, we talked a little bit about what Marc-Andre Fleury's been doing to make himself better. Simon Dupre's been doing the same thing. You talked about yoga and stuff. And again, Malkin, all these guys, Staggy, you can't compete in this league and get better on a daily basis if you don't try to one-up the next guy. You can't just assume because you were good last year you're going to be good this year. Malkin's up the ante right now, and it's paying off. This guy could be the league MVP. We'll see.
That was a great shift, was it not? They worked hard. There's an icing call against the Penguins. Let's take a look at where Malkin's goals come from.
Well, the X is the most recent. The power play is going to be in the yellow color, and the black, you see where Malkin, he could score inside and out, primarily scoring all the power plays on that left side of the ice. That's where he was playing, the left point. That play was beautiful right there as Simon Dupre went down the wall to the hash mark, fired it back out to Malkin. But you have to have the other things, don't you? You have to have the net front presence, you have to have traffic. You're never going to score on Carey Price from that distance unless you have all the other stuff going on in front.
Sidney Crosby moves it to the right wing to David Perron, over to Kunitz. Kunitz looks for Perron down the wing. David Perron against Markov, and he threw it in front. And off a stick and sailed right through the goal mouth. Now back into the Penguin zone. Letang goes back in against Desharnais. Kicked free by Letang, but it's taken by Plekanec. Plekanec's shot was blocked by Kunitz. Less than a minute remaining in the second period. A huge goal for the Penguins. The Canadians scored at 18:10 of the first period. The Penguins scored 18:28 of the second period.
The puck was shot in and hit Weiss, who was trying to change. His own defenseman just shot a puck right at him. Now he's hurt right now. We're going to drop it at center ice. Let's look at Bulio, and there is the goal scorer, Evgeny Malkin. Now 46 points on the season, 19 goals to lead the Penguins. Pacioretty got his 18th goal tonight for the Canadiens.
Malkin has played all 82 games, only twice in his career. He's played all 41 so far this year. Everybody knock on wood. We'd love to see him and Sid play a full season for the once. Both of them would be great to see that again. Here comes Bo Bennett into the Montreal zone to Malkin. Toe drag, and his shot is blocked. Sekac to it. Winds it up the near wall. Brandon Prust into the middle for Sekac. Nice moves as he comes into the Penguin zone. Backhand shot blocked by Bortuzzo. Took it hard into the end board. And now it's Gonchar with it. To Eller, a drive. Save Fleury, rebound. Bo Bennett just got there in time before Beaulieu could pounce on the loose puck before the end of the period. And now a glove to the face of one of the Canadians in front.
Prust, Malkin.
Yeah, Malkin threw a glove into his face.
It was a big hit by Bortuzzo, Robert Bortuzzo, right behind the Pittsburgh Penguins net, right into the glass. A big play by Bo Bennett on a back check. Really good stuff by Pittsburgh, and that was a hit earlier on Galchenyuk. Bo Bennett, 1 second left. There he is, coming down from his position up high to make that play. Wow, good stuff there at the end of that one, and we're going to carry a 1-1 tie going to the third.
The old head on a swivel for Bo Bennett. Let's go to Robert.
The Penguins have lost 5 in a row in Montreal. Evgeny Malkin's late goal in the second period has given them a chance to snap that streak. They're tied at 1 with the Canadiens. If you're just joining us, here is what you missed.
Another shot. Rebound. Downey trying to whack it into mid-air. He takes another crack at it, and Price able to corral the puck. Great anticipation was Pacioretty. 2-on-1 with Gallagher. He shoots and scores. There's a one-timer, and then a deflection. Prust shot it, and Fleury's down. I think he made a save there. A Prust backhand try. Dupre spins off the wall to Malkin. His shot. Score! Malkin with a rocket, and the Penguins have tied this game at 1. And that's where we are after 2 periods of play, Bob, and 2 teams that have been pretty good when they're tied going to the third period.
Yeah, the great stars for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the team play of the Montreal Canadiens when you talk about third periods of play, and you got to have goaltending. Both these teams do have that, and you look at Marc-Andre Fleury with that .943 save percentage, 5th best. You see the Canadiens 50 goals, 5th most. Something's got to give here. The Canadiens are 5-0-1 when tied after 2. And the Penguins are 7-3-2. And there's Marc-Andre Fleury. Put a little snow in the crease in case any pucks were going to be sliding around there. The goaltender wants to have some snow in that area to maybe stop that puck from getting over the goal line and your pads from sliding there early.
Price has been on fire and in a zone ever since he helped Canada win the gold medal, Bob.
Well, he's composed. He's confident. He, he used to come in here and he used to be a little bit of a show with him and PK Subban, the jumping and the hand signals and whatnot. But now it's more of a business-like, a grown-up approach.
What's that make you think of? I mean, that's the same thing at the other end of the rink, right? It just comes with maturity.
Yep.
He's 27 now. Lakonitz moves it in behind the net. Carey Price has always been kind of a laconic goaltender, a guy who's just looks like he's not even really trying that hard in the net. And Fleury has gotten better at making it look easy as his career has gone on here. And here's Subban into the Penguin zone. Subban turning and shooting. Ouch. That hit Sidney Crosby in the shin pad, and it came right to Markov, who threw it to the front of the net. And now Crosby takes off with it. Moved it right to the right wing right away. And Canadians are ready for that. They break up the east-west pass and redirect it back into the Penguin zone. The Crosby goes to the bench. Bortuzzo to Martin. Up the wall now to Bo Bennett. Bennett closing in. Bennett shoots it. And he fired and missed the net.
I love that little bank pass off the boards behind the defenseman who stood up for Bo Bennett.
A shot by Malkin.
Boy, Malkin had Carey Price moving a little bit there. A little more motion than I think Carey Price would have wanted. On that ice, fresh ice that I talked about, when you move with your pads this early in the period, you're going to slide a little more. And he was outside his crease, and he slid a little more. I think he wanted on the Malkin angle shot.
Here's Galchenyuk with it now. They'll drop it back. Beaulieu with a long drive, steered away by Fleury to the near wall. Letang trying to feed it up the wall for Downey. It comes back to Letang, and now Downey will take over. And around too hard for Ehrhoff, and it comes out now to Gilbert, who shoots it wide of the net. And right to Chris Letang, who is able to lift it back to center ice. Sakatch, the forward, was back there, and he wound it up to the wing. Now Brandon Press looks for Gilbert jumping in. Now he finds another man jumping in. And that was Sakatch coming late after he had been all the way up ice. And now Sakatch winds it up. Look at the speed. He can really skate. Sakatch into the Penguin zone down the wing. And Scuderi confronted him, reached around, somehow poked it away, but then it's moved back to the point by Eller to Subban, and now to Yemelin, and his pass for Sakatch doesn't connect. And the Penguins finally get control of it, and it's Downey now. Steve Downey will lift it high into the Montreal zone. Back to get it goes PK Subban. And here goes PK. Rumble into center. Fired it hard on net. The save made by Fleury. And the Penguins clear it back to center. It's fun to watch. Here's Markov up the wing now for Thomas. Just put it into the Penguin zone, and Fleury out of the net. Up off the glass and around off the skate of Gotch to Thomas, and a redirect right on the doorstep by Bourneval is stopped by Fleury. Now Dupre around for Scuderi. Gotch left it for Scuderi, and Dupre, those two having a little trouble now in this unit here, having a tough time getting out of their own zone, but finally they come to center, and Adams will dump it into the Montreal zone. Penguins change their defense pair as Sill gets in on the forecheck. Now does Bourneval. He's checked by Adams. Andrick Ghetto has it for Montreal. Around for Gonchar, and up the wall now to Thomas. Christian Thomas ahead to Bourneval. Shoots it wide. And now behind the net is Paul Martin.
Teams are really flying here, taking away time from one another here as plays have to be made quick.
Looks more like the first period, doesn't it?
It does, really does.
Here's Gonchar with it. And out now for Plekanec. Pass not there. Bortuzzo dumps it to the corner. Durand got in there and just couldn't get a hold of it. And the Canadians come back. And a lead pass up to the corner for Desharnais. Bortuzzo in on him. He rubs him out. Desharnais did a good job to turn his back on him to protect the puck. But then Bortuzzo takes it away. Subban down the wall. Drops it back. Galchenyuk's shot is off a leg. Similar to the play that led to the Malkin goal there with Subban and Galchenyuk did.
Yep, thinking the exact same thing. Subban went down the wall, hit the forward coming out. He was covering up for Subban, and they get the shot to the net.
That would be the F3, would it not, Bob?
The high forward, that F3. The F1 is the guy that's in there making the hit down below the goal line. F3 is the third forward into the zone, the high forward.
Centering pass squirts right to the front of the net, then right back onto the stick of Malkin. And Malkin tried to go to Letang, but a good read there by Gallagher, and he comes back, banks it off the boards to Pacioretty. Pacioretty shoots, and a blocker save made by Fleury.
Tried to catch him cheating. Fleury didn't cheat off the goal post. Gallagher was going to the far post, and Fleury left him to the defenseman. He did not cheat. That was great stuff.
Mike Bales, the Penguins goaltending coach, has really worked on Marc-Andre Fleury's post play, and that's been a huge difference in his game. He stays back on the goal line more. Here's Galchenyuk with it. And he hugs that post. And Galchenyuk dumps the puck into the Penguin zone. Taken down by Ehrhoff. To Sutter. Banks it off the boards to center for Downey. Into the Montreal zone for Rust. They all overskate, and the Canadians. Beaulieu comes back. Into the middle now for Rust. He's got Sakatch down the wing. Martin over with a beautiful piece of stick work there to poke it away, but he gets it back. Sakatch. Beaulieu, the drive. Blocked by Dupre. Beaulieu back to the front of the net. And it went right through the paint and out of the reach of Lars Eller. Now Sutter picks off the east-west pass, and he takes off with Rust against Gonchar. Sutter swinging wide, coming in. Sutter shoots it. Oh, went off the skate of Rust, I think. He's getting in the goal now.
He couldn't find it in there. He was looking down and hit the metal of his blade. What a play.
Perron with a shot, and he just missed on the stick side of Carey Price.
Look out, don't touch it. You come off the ice if you're Bortuzzo, you don't touch that puck quick right away. You do, they're going to nail you for too many men. And now they are going to call it late. The linesman called this play about 10 seconds after. Robert Bortuzzo jumped on the ice, I don't think you should touch the puck. He did, but there was no initial call. They're going to make a call against Pittsburgh, and you really got to be careful that when you jump on for a man that he's off the ice before you make a play on the puck. That's too many men on the ice. Robert Bortuzzo is going to jump on the ice. He touches it. His man is just about off the ice, but not quite, as he tries to leap for that bench. And 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So about 4 seconds after, and now the Penguins bench is up in arms. Look at this play. Sutter tries to go to Rust so he can redirect it, knowing that Carey Price is going to square up Staggy. And Rust, all he's got to do if he sees it coming is direct it into the wide open cage.
So the Canadians with the man advantage. Bench minor to the Penguins. Too many men on the ice. Huge penalty killing situation for Pittsburgh. David Perron is serving the penalty for the Penguins. Paul Martin, the boards, and Desharnais got it for Montreal. To PK Subban. Out of Markov. Subban shifting this way and that as he comes into the Penguin zone. Back to the corner. Plekanec over to play it. Martin's on him. Martin coolly finds Craig Adams. That's teamwork there on the penalty kill to get it up and down the ice.
It's really good stuff here. Let's see if the Penguins get Crosby out. He did kill a little in the second period when they were down by 1, but we're tied at 1.
Penguins stop them at the line, and Bortuzzo whacks it off the boards. And Subban will go back and regroup for the Canadians. Half of this penalty has been killed now. Past the 1 minute mark, 56 seconds. As it's carried back by Gonchar. Master at bringing the puck up the ice on the power play. He dumps it in. Bortuzzo there, up the boards, right to Zach Sill. Sill comes ahead, 3 men strong are the Penguins right now. Spalling, now to Ehrhoff, a shot and a blocker save by Price, who floated over and made the save on Christian Ehrhoff. Great short-handed opportunity for the Penguins. 32 seconds to go on the penalty. Galchenyuk with speed around Gotch. Now he's hit hard in the corner, I mean hard, by Simon Dupré, who absolutely belted him over there in the corner. Here's Dupré going the other way now. Dupré left it for Gotch. Gotch closes in, he shoots, and a blocker save again by Price. Now Dupré to the puck, 13 seconds to go on the penalty. David Perron's going to be coming out of the box. Gotch doing a great job here along with Adams, forcing the Canadians back in their own zone with only 4 seconds to go on the penalty. Perron is on his feet.
They did it without Rob Scuderi, who was in because of the skate. He had lost his edge and had to go in for a skate sharpening with Dana Heinze icing here. So he was unavailable to kill that penalty. Galchenyuk just got hammered by Dupré.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Great penalty kill. Rob Scuderi back on the ice from the dressing room. He's good to go now. What a battle.
Crosby taking the draw against Lars Eller, who's had a good career against Crosby on the draws. Lars Eller's been winning a lot of faceoffs against a lot of people. He's clicking at almost 57% on the faceoffs coming into the game, and he won that one. Beaulieu winds it up the left wing boards. Oh, look out. Right in the center ice. Ehrhoff tried to hit Sakoc. Prust follows on. Letang guards in behind the net. Letang trying to keep it moving, going north. Here he comes in a foot race with Subban. Letang trying to get around Subban. Showing great desire. He goes in there looking for the puck. What a battle between two great players there. And Subban eventually got the puck and wound it up the near wall, where it's tipped back to center by Sakoc. Hustling back is Perron, and offside of the Canadians as they enter the Penguin zone. We haven't had a lot of offside calls here tonight. Both of these teams have done a pretty good job of keeping that flow going. And right now, the Penguins, after a big penalty kill, looking to go on the offense.
Crosby, situation here, collision with Sakoc, and Sakoc's left skate actually came up and kind of caught Crosby in the cup area. Crosby went down and he went to the bench, guys. It seems that he's going to be okay. He was talked to by Chris Stewart, the trainer, and fortunately it appears that Crosby will be good to go after what can be a very dangerous situation. Take a look at the left skate come up between the legs of Crosby.
Dangerous. Here's Malkin down the wing. He's hit by Galchenyuk, but keeps on working. Beaulieu, bumped by Bo Bennett. Puck up the wall. This line, Malkin, Bennett, and Spalling. They worked extremely hard. Here goes Malkin again into the Montreal zone to Bennett. Bennett shoots it. Oh, he hit the goal post. A little toe drag move before he pulled the trigger, too. That's 2 posts for Bennett in the last 2 games.
He looks dangerous when he has that puck on his stick.
Always.
And I thought Carey Price was guessing what direction that shot was going to go. Great speed by the Penguins, Malkin and company to drive back the D so that Ben could take that extra second to measure it up.
Remember when you referred to Bennett as surfing the other night, the way he skates, he kind of slides sideways at times or shifts his hips when he carries a puck. He said that's back to his roller hockey days. He said you had to use more hip work and shift your weight back and forth to fake guys out because you couldn't do it like you can on skates.
Well, hey, dude, put the puck in the net next time, will you?
Let's go surfing now, everybody.
Look at that. I tell you, Malkin, don't you love how Malkin drops it back, creates space, listen. So there you go. Carey Price, a little help from the goaltender's best friend, and yeah, Bo Bennett. He likes this Montreal ice. He's feeling it out here.
California kid, Bo Bennett. Nice to see him back. Getting a chance to play a top 6 forward again. Now it's Christian Ehrhoff coming back to center. And looking for the passes. Brian Rust down the wing. Rust fires and a save by Price. He lost control of the rebound. But no damage done to the Canadians there. Price is down on his side right now. I think he's lounging on a couch. Gets back up slowly onto his skates as the Penguins recover the puck in the defensive zone and carry it back. It's Sutter. He gains the red line and dumps it in. Both teams make changes. Look at Subban. There he goes again. Coming to center ice. Tried to get it deep. Perron took it away. Perron left it for Kunitz. Back for Perron. Over to the left side for Crosby. But Kunitz right on him. Now Dupre dumps it to the corner. Crosby and Perron working together. Here's Perron with it. Leaving it now for Scuderi. Back to Sid on the backhand. He can't pull the trigger. Crosby over there against Desharnais. Hit him hard into the boards. And comes back in behind the net for PK Subban. Ahead now for Plekanec. That long lob pass, and Plekanec able to field it. And then backhanded back in behind the goal. 9:10 to go in the third period. The game is tied at 1. Good battle between 2 top Eastern Conference clubs. Chris Kunitz comes slowly to center and finds Rob Scuderi. Scuderi will wheel it up into the Montreal zone. Price leaves it for Gonchar. Up the wall now for Beaulieu, the defenseman, who relays the puck up into the Penguin zone, and Fleury left it there for Martin, who jams it up the wall, but Bennett can't knock it out of midair. Beaulieu sent it back around to the far side. Over to get it is Spalling. He got it ahead to Malkin. Malkin couldn't hang on to the puck as he was challenged by Thomas, but he has it again. Now taken away from him by Gonchar. Spalling over to hit Thomas so that Paul Martin could get the puck, and now Bourneval ahead for Andrighetto, but Martin to Bortuzzo and out to Bo Bennett. Look out. Bo Bennett is hit at center ice by Alexei Yemelin after dumping the puck in, and he goes to the bench. Spalling in on the forecheck, has to complete the change. Greg Adams comes on, 4th line on the ice. Spalling goes off. Sill is going to come on here on the icing call. Back into the Penguin zone it'll go.
We talked about Plekanec. We talked about Crosby. We talked about wherever Crosby is, he's going to have that tail Plekanec on him. And there you see it right here. As Crosby looking for his first shot of the hockey game right there. After 2 periods, he didn't have any.
Andrighetto takes the draw against Gotch. Gotch pulls it back to Ehrhoff, and now to the far wing. The shot was saved, and a rebound. Adams and Price sprawling to make a save, and now Emelin with it. The Tank took the first shot from the far wall. Price stopping the rebound try, and now at center ice. It is Still, and he'll dump it up into the right wing corner. Price wanted to play it, he didn't. There is a penalty coming up. Penguins continue to control the puck. And the 4th line for the 2nd time tonight has drawn a penalty.
They almost scored a goal for the first time tonight. They do draw the penalty. Still in the dump in. Adams was the man who had a chance, but Carey Price was there to deny it.
The Penguins won only 4 games in the first 30 years at the old Forum, and it was replaced in '96 by this building, the Bell Center, located in downtown Montreal with a capacity of 21,273, the largest arena for hockey in North America. There are 24 cup banners hanging in the rafters as well as 18 retired jerseys. And with all those retired jerseys, it means that there just aren't that many numbers left, except for high ones like 51, 55, 58, 67, 74, 76, 79, etc. Power play for the Penguins. A chance to take the lead late in the third period against a Canadiens team that has been very good at coming on late in games. The Penguins trying to turn the tables on them. Here's Malkin on the near side. Back out for Letang, and he's able to work it over to Perron, whose shot deflected, and a rebound trying to back in by Kunitz, and Price made the save. Sidney Crosby was on the doorstep. I don't know if he got enough of that with a blade to get a good redirect, but Kunitz was there, and Price stopped him. Now it's Subban shorthanded, dumping it into the Penguin zone.
Good traffic, though. Everybody converging on Carey Price, looking for that bounce to make the difference in this game. The power play with a chance to give the Penguins that lead.
Kunitz. Around now to Letang. Perron works the left side. Letang straight away. Crosby on the right side. Malkin down low on the goal line. There he is. Malkin holds it for Sidney Crosby. Closes in the circle. Cross now for Perron. Not there. This is a new power play configuration the Penguins worked on last week prior to the Boston game.
But even saying that, Staggy, you still had Sid on the half wall, and Gino was down on the goal line. Unlike what they were working on the last couple of days. So
they're moving people around. There's definitely a changing of positions all the time. Now back around. Letang takes control of it. 35 seconds to go on this crucial power play opportunity for the Penguins. Downey's on the ice. It's the second unit. Sutter can't get around Plekanec. And Plekanec, who saved some of his best hockey for the Penguins, dumps it into the Penguin zone. Ehrhoff goes back to get it. And we're down to only 16 seconds on this power play. Here comes Bo Bennett into the Montreal zone to Sutter. Sutter with a beautiful move, trying to come to the goal, taken away, and now a penalty coming up.
Yeah, I believe Sutter drew that penalty on Emelin. So they're going to have 9 seconds of 5-on-3. And then a 5-on-4 after this, it appears. Wow, what a move by Sutter. Carrying the puck way to his right side, bringing it inside with his head up. Look at this. Wow. That is incredible. There's the hook, definitely on the hip by Emelin on Sutter. That was a big time.
He disrobed him. He had no choice but to take a penalty.
That was a big time move. He moved that puck way across his body like a big pterodactyl. He moved that puck about 15 feet from right to left on his edges with that wide base. Great stuff by Sutter. And what an opportunity and a huge face-off here. You want to get control of this puck. Kunitz is going to plow out Markov on the wall. Crosby hopefully picks that puck up on the wall.
Perron, Crosby, Kunitz, Malkin, and Letang for the Penguins. Plekanec on the draw. Came over to the wall. Kunitz taps it out to Malkin. And a loose puck in the slot. And Malkin's going to have to play it now with Plekanec bearing down on him. Now it's Crosby crisscrossing with Kunitz. Crosby drops it off. Perron holds it. Canadians have 4 on the ice now. Letang shot. He broke his stick on it, and now he has to go to the bench to get a stick. And here come the Canadians, but Malkin came swooping in to take it away. To Crosby, the shot. Good save by Carey Price. What a dramatic, spectacular save by Carey Price on Sidney Crosby. And that has them on their feet here at the Bell Center right now.
Yeah.
A standing ovation.
The showman for sure, making a great glove save. I love the back check here by Perron and Malkin after the broken stick. And that leads to a great opportunity. A knuckler, Carey Price, snags it out of the air with that trapper up and above, over his head almost as he's going down on his rear.
Crosby to take the face-off. A minute 34 to go on the Emelin penalty. You talk about Sidney Crosby and why isn't he scoring goals? Well, some guys are making saves on him at times. Here's Perron with it now to Martin. Martin to Malkin. Malkin, slap pass. I thought he might have broken his stick, but he just kind of fanned on it, and now Eller comes back. And what you have to watch for here is we get an offside call on the Canadians. What you have to be aware of here is maybe a penalty going back the other way. Got to be careful here.
Yeah, well, I think they're pretty much even right now. I love the back checks. Again, Malkin fans on a shot, and then you got Crosby back checking right away. Previous to that, it was Letang breaking the stick. Look at Crosby get on his horse to track down the swift-moving Eller. who's a little bit of a gazelle himself. So quick reaction, quick response, great back check by the Penguins. A real good hockey game right now.
5:11 remaining in the game. In the third period, 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining on the Emelin penalty, and here comes Letang. To Sutter. Well, he's doing a good job of swooping into the middle, isn't he? And now he falls down as the puck goes to the corner. He and Bennett went crashing in there. Markov up the wall now for Brandon Prust. Ehrhoff has to back up. Eller can't take the lead pass, and Letang will take control with 55 seconds left on this power play for the Penguins. Letang comes ahead. Leaves it there for Bo Bennett. Bennett's gone 53 games without a power play goal. Here's Letang with it. Over to Ehrhoff. Ehrhoff in the slot. Downey knocks it down and has control of it. 38 seconds to go on the penalty. Chris Letang. To Ehrhoff. The shot. Oh, boy. Price was ducking out of the way of that. I think it caught his equipment as it went by. Maybe his mask.
Yeah, I think it cut the right side of his head, right in the earlobe.
That's got to hurt when it hits you on the side of the head. There's a chance now shorthanded for Plekanec. His shot was blocked. And 19 seconds to go on the penalty. Malkin takes the pass from Bennett. Bennett goes to the bench. Malkin 1-on-4 right now. Penguins with reinforcements coming onto the ice. But we're down to only 7 seconds left on the Emelin penalty. Pacioretty does a good job to work it back to center, and now Kunitz has to go all the way back into his own zone. The Penguins come up short, unable to score.
The last time the puck went down the ice, Carey Price actually took his mask off as he was struck by a shot in his right earlobe.
Those masks are built to deflect pucks away when they come straight on, but if you turn sideways, then you're taking the full impact. Now up the left wing, Pacioretty redirects the puck ahead for Galchenyuk. Paul Martin able to get over and make sure the puck gets out. And back to get it goes Gonchar, and here comes Marcel Gotch and Adams after him. The fourth line of the Penguins tonight has been effective. They've drawn a couple of penalties. They've had some scoring opportunities. Here's Sill with it now. And taken away. Pacioretty into the middle now for Galchenyuk. Dupre over to confront him, but Galchenyuk keeps coming. Drops it off to Subban. Left side of Pacioretty. He shot it off the side of the goal.
And the whole building standing up, and Marc-Andre Fleury laying down, and he just missed the open side. Just couldn't get it in on that angle.
And the Canadian fans were already cheering. They thought it was in the net.
It was unbelievable. The puck ended up on the stick of Subban. Everybody was standing. He put it right onto the tape of Pacioretty. He just missed. Time for a Subway sandwich of the game. Steve Downey on Alexei Emelin. Emelin played the puck up the wall. Paid the price.
The sandwich was delivered on the very first shift of the game that Steve Downey took.
Yeah, they tried to send a message early, did the Penguins, but Price is trying to send a late message here, and you know, you could only pick, if you wanted to pick one guy with a chance like that for the Canadians, it would have been Pacioretty, and maybe the puck rolled just as he tried to release it. He had a little bit of an angle. Fleury's right pad was down. He hit the side of the net, and the Penguins lived to fight another day.
Plekanec won the draw. Back to the net. Fleury left it there for Bortuzzo. Gets his feet moving and uses the glass to get it out to center. 2:43 to go in regulation time. Kunitz knocked it away from Markov. Bortuzzo with it. The Penguins have managed the puck much better since the start of the second period. But a turnover there, but Martin covering up, dumps the puck into the Montreal zone. Upper wall, it comes for Dale Weiss. You got a stick on it to direct it back to neutral ice. Malkin's on again. Malkin sent it up the boards, taken by Nick Spaulding. Into the middle now for Bo Bennett, who left it for Malkin. Malkin 1-on-4, backhands it and turning right through the goal mouth, where Bo Bennett can go pick it up now. Bennett, great pass to Ehrhoff. His shot hit a skate, pouncing on the loose puck. Spaulding tried to send it for Bennett, couldn't get it through to him. The Canadians with good defensive work there, and now Pacioretty snaps it rink wide for Gallagher. But Letang quickly whacked it back to center ice, where Markov delivers it right back into the Penguin zone. 1:44 to go. 30 shots for Pittsburgh, 27 for the Habs. Each team with a goal. Letang right up the middle for Bennett. And off his stick, and then off the stick of Rust. And dumped right back in by the Canadians, but from behind the red line, Beaulieu iced it. So they'll bring it back into the Montreal zone, and the Penguins will send fresh troops onto the ice.
Yeah, those troops are Crosby with his unit of Perron, and Chris Kunitz, and they get set for a big face-off to the left of Carey Price.
Perron wears that tinted visor because he had concussion problems, and it's better for his eyes that he doesn't have the bright lights in them. He's out here to work on the face-off as Crosby took the draw, smashed it to the boards, but the Canadians end up with it. And a lead pass off a stick comes right through for Pacioretty, and he'll backhand it up into the Penguin zone. Fleury stops it behind the net for Letang. Ehrhoff, Kunitz, got to bank it ahead for Perron, couldn't get it through to him. Turnover in the neutral zone. Got to be careful doing that against the Canadians. Markov moved it into the slot. Kunitz was in good position, banks it ahead to Crosby. Crosby looks back to Perron. Backhand shot with a stop made by Price, and a beautiful spinning shot by David Perron.
That was something special there after the Penguins were able to set Crosby free with that backdoor bank pass.
Well, that would have been a highlight reel goal, and Perron would have been able to finish the play. Everybody would be talking about the Crosby-Perron combination. But what Price made the save, and now it's Markov with it. 40 seconds to go in regulation time. Markov to Sekac. He dumps it up into the Penguin zone. Scuderi back on another icing call. Not a good move there by Sekac, and that'll bring another face-off in the Montreal end.
What a veteran play by Scuderi. You turn the other way to buy the icing call. Wow. Sidney Crosby. Take a look. Kunitz off the back wall, off the side wall, and the spinorama almost goes 5-hole on the netminder. At full speed, David Perron. In his third game, the Penguins call a timeout, I believe. A Canadian timeout. Montreal Canadiens call the timeout here with 33 left. Only 2 goals in the game here, partner.
And they both came late in the periods that they were scored in. Pacioretty scoring at 18-10 unassisted on a 2-on-1. He decided to shoot it himself, and why not? He's their best goal scorer. And then Evgeny Malkin.
Look at that play by Simon Debray. Hurries to the wall, get a little bit of traffic. And these netminders have not disappointed in this game. They both came in with a 2.20, and they've led their teams to this point, and maybe it might have to go a little bit further to decide this one.
Malkin to take the draw against Lars Eller, who's a good face-off man. Malkin has to have his stick down first as the road player in the circle. It's down, and the face-off is won by Eller. And Subban chased in behind the net by Bo Bennett, sent the puck to center. Letang banks it ahead, and Bo Bennett has to get onside. Sekac for Prust. Ramming in from behind was Bennett. Now it's Subban with it with 18 seconds to go in regulation. Love down by Letang, out down to center, and off the stick of Malkin up into the Montreal zone. And that is an icing call here against Pittsburgh, and now a big face-off in the Penguin zone.
12.7 left. And we'll see if the Penguins need a timeout. They're discussing it right now, and yeah, I can see the signal, as can you. Mike Johnson on the right, Gary Agnew with arms crossed. And let's talk about it, boys. Malkin's the centerman. It's going to be tough for a lefty to win this face-off. Spalling can win face-offs, but his best side is the other side of the ice as well, being a lefty. And they're going to go against Thomas Plekanec. It looks like who wins is going to win his share of face-offs in this circle. So the Penguins have to figure out right now is what do we do if we lose this face-off? This is what this is all about. What they'd like to see is a tie-up, a 50-50 situation, and let somebody come in and get the puck. If not, who's getting through? Make sure you get through to the points. Who's going to be the dangerous man for the Canadians? And that's what they're going to look for right now off this face-off to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury. And Markov and Subban, they're going to be tough if they get the puck back there. Two great minds at the point.
Interesting that Malkin is being used here on this draw against Plekanec, and he won the face-off. Great job by Malkin. And wound around now and out to center. Now Spalling chasing down Subban with 5 seconds to go. So Gino winning a big draw for the Penguins there in his own zone. And there's the siren here in Montreal, ending regulation time.
Look at the disappointment on Plekanec right now. I can't believe I lost the face-off. Now Gino came in. Winning 75% of his draws going to the third period. He won a huge one there.
Barrel.com overtime about to start here in Montreal. Each team now has 55 points. One of them will have 56 when the game is over.
And they're going to switch ends in this year's NHL. Goalies change. You're going to have the long changes for the players on the bench because the goaltender is way down on the other side of that red line.
Bob, I mentioned that the Penguins had only 4 wins as you look at Carey Price at the other end of the rink. 4 wins from 67 to 96 in the Forum. But they've had 16 wins and 8 ties here in the Bell Center since it opened in the late 90s and they started playing here. So this is a place where the Penguins have done well. And they're looking to get the extra point here in the overtime. There's the graphic that supports what I just said. Look at that record at the Forum. That place was a house of horrors for the Penguins, especially in the 70s when the Canadians ruled the hockey world with 6 Stanley Cups in that decade.
Jean Beliveau and company.
And then Guy Lafleur and company.
Oh, man. Oh, once he was gone. You talk about blowing the zone. Oh, when he was gone, he was gone. You couldn't catch him.
Now the Penguins go to work in the 4-on-4. Here's Crosby to the goal. Price makes the save. Back out down to Bortuzzo. Bortuzzo to Martin. Martin closes in for Crosby, looking for the redirect, but Subban was ready for that. Bortuzzo steps up, and now Pacioretty has it for Montreal. Crosby all by his lonesome. But Price hung in there with him and made the save.
He tried to wait him. He tried to wait, go around that right pad, and Carey Price just, Carey Price's left pad as Crosby went to the backhand.
Kunitz dumps it in. Sid wants the puck again. He left it on the wall, but Desharnais takes it the other way, and look out. He's got Pacioretty there as well, but Ehrhoff came over to cut him off. Now Malkin takes control. Kunitz is still on the ice. Malkin to the Montreal zone. Malkin shoots it. Price the save and the rebound. The Canadians getting hold of it. They try to clear it, and it came right back to Gonchar. And now Gonchar slows the pace down and comes to center ice. Good pass into the feet of Dale Weiss on the ice. Malkin steps in to take it away from him. And now Weiss has it again. Open man is Beaulieu. And he lost the puck before he could shoot it. Sends it behind the net. A long change here for teams, and it's going to be interesting to see if that plays any role here in this overtime with the defense having to go a longer distance. The goalie switching as we showed you. Now Bro Bennett leaves it in behind the net. Canadians and Penguins both change on the fly. Bennett, little head fake there. Here he goes, surfing again through center ice. Bo Bennett into the Montreal zone, sliding to his right as Sutter goes to the front, and he centered it to him right by his stick. Now over to the corner is Bennett again, but Gallagher took it away, and he comes to center. Stepping up on him is Scuderi. He protects the puck as he moves it in around for Dupre. And Dupre up the wall for Bo Bennett at center. And he'll drop it back. Smart play there as he got it back to Ralph Scuderi. And this is a guy who played roller hockey, Bo Bennett. And it's always 4-on-4. Here's Perron with it. Perron shoots up high, and it sails over the shoulder of Price and off the glass and out to center.
And Price tried to stand up on that, got the left shoulder up. Perron looking dangerous right now in this overtime along with Bennett.
Here's Dupre pulling up, throwing it to the net. The blocker save made. Sutter winds it around now for Paul Martin. Down the wall, great pass to David Perron. Perron looks up. He finds Dupre. Dupre protecting nicely against Galchenyuk. Tried to pass it and fanned on it. Gets it back and keeps it in the zone. Perron with it. He's got Sutter there too. Perron dangling like Kovalev. Backhand shot, one-handed to the save. A rebound. Shot wide of the goal by Martin. And now it's held in by Bortuzzo to Perron.
What strength.
Perron again, a backhand shot, and he fired it wide. It's all Penguins in the overtime. Martin sends it around behind the net. Perron there again for Crosby. Closing in. He shoots it. Oh, it went right to the goal line, and it's cleared away by Emelin before it went in. Alexei Emelin saves the day.
Crosby with another opportunity in overtime. Goes 5-hole. It's trickling over the line. Too many men on the ice. Who? Too many men.
Yeah, Sid recognized that. In the middle of all that mayhem, he noticed that the Canadians had too many men on the ice.
As the puck goes the other way, too many men. What a feed. Kunitz to Crosby. That was the first chance. Stopped by the left pad. Perron, take a look at his immense strength. Just throwing off a big man here in Gilbert with one hand. And a big save by Price, and then Sidney Crosby. This puck gets under the paddles, going in, and Emelin finds a way to get it away from that goal line.
And a lot of time left in this overtime. 1:51 to go in the 4-on-4, but it's now a 4-on-3 because Galchenyuk is serving The too many men on the ice penalty, and the Penguins have a face-off in the Montreal zone. The Canadians have Subban on the ice, along with Plekanec and Markov. The Penguins with Crosby, Malkin, Kunitz, and Letang from the draw. Markov sent it up the boards. Letang trying to hold it in with a glove. Now Crosby to the puck. Over to Letang. Penguins with a power play chance here to win the game, win the overtime period. Here's Crosby with it. You'd love to see Sid get the game winner after all this. Here's Malkin with it now.
Broken stick.
No stick for Plekanec. Malkin can't take advantage of that yet. Plekanec still with no stick. Malkin to Letang to Malkin. Fakes the shot. Over to Crosby. Score! He wins it for the Penguins. He finally gets that goal.
And Plekanec is going to pick up the broken stick. And the Penguins take advantage of it. They make a pass through the seam after clearing the broken stick out of the way, which is legal. Incredible stuff by the Penguins. Two superstars combining to win a game for Pittsburgh, and they were the dominant players in the overtime. Crosby had his third great chance. Finally, Carey Price, he stopped them once and twice, but not a third time. The stick's out of the way. Plekanec doesn't have it. They're playing around with him. They use that ability in that open space, and they find the pass through the seam. Crosby just waiting right on that dot. Bang, down to one knee. It's in the net, and he does not miss.
Needless to say, that was liberating for 87. Let's go to Robin J.